Hello and welcome to another episode of Taylor Talks Comics. Today I'm going to be showing off the comic book work of Jasper Krentts. Stay tuned. All right, so this is another episode of Cartoonist You Should Know. It's the kind of the ongoing episodes that I like to have where I show off cartoonists that are self-publishing their own work. And Jasper Krentts is one of those, based out in New York. He reached out to me on Instagram and said he would like, he would ask me if I'd be interested in reading his comics and maybe showing them off on the channel. And I took a look at his Instagram, loved his art style, and said absolutely. He sent these out to me, and it's actually been a long time coming, so apologies to Jasper on that, but it is here. And these are available on his website, which I will link down below in the description. But yeah, so this is Jasper Krentts stuff. I want to show this off. We're going to show off Magnet Head 1, Magnet Head 2, and then Dan's Secret, which is a little bit of a mini comic. Let's start off with Dan's Secret. So I feel like those kind of have a narrative that they follow together. So I want to adjust my camera here, make sure I'm showing off the best of his work. So this is Dan's Secret. It's like I said, this is a little mini comic sized output. And I instantly, like I said, when I looked at his Instagram, I loved his art style. I'm really into, like, I love the whole gamut of comic books, really, and everything they can offer. So I'm pretty agnostic as far as, like, what comics that I do read. And I can definitely tell that Jasper's falls in line with, like, kind of the underground scene. And I'm just following Jasper on Instagram, I could tell he's, like, into the skateboarding scene, skate culture, which is also awesome. And right away when I saw his work, I could tell, like, it's almost like a very Gary Panter kind of flavor to it. Gary Panter is one of my favorite cartoonists from the 80s and 90s, and who also did, like, all the set designs and whatnot for Pee-wee's Playhouse. But he had, like, a very manic kind of style to his art, and I see that from Jasper, and I love it. It's just like this, it feels like an artist, like, that's just exploding with ideas that wants to, they can't help themselves but to draw all over the page and put their thoughts out, and it's very interesting. So here you can see he's pasting over with, it looks like on legal pad, writing down the lettering, hand lettering, and then pasting it over the artwork and probably copying that on a Xerox, or maybe just scanning it in that way. And then like this, like 2-page spread here, where they're going to a dog park. Like, I'd like to know, Jasper, if he's watching, I don't know, but if he is influenced by Gary Panter, because it feels so much like that, and it's like, I don't know, there's just so much interesting stuff to look at all over this page that there's not any other comics today that I can find that look like this. And then the surrealness of the nature of the story here, where Dan's Secret is that he, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's very kind of like a gross secret that he'd be embarrassed for anybody to know, and that's kind of the whole nature of the story. It's like a very subversive story that maybe people can relate to if they have their own kind of gross secrets that they don't want other people to know. But just his manic nature of his art style on display, with very inventive panel layouts too. No 2 pages look the same. And I'd also be curious to know some of his process of, like, what he's using, because it doesn't look like, it looks like he's just going straight pen to paper. I don't know that he's using a lot of pencils. But he has very inventive ways to convey, like, cartoon language as well. As, like, this guy's going going crazy out of his mind in this scene. And then there's Dan's secret right there with some where to follow Jasper too. I should put that. This will all be in the show notes too, in the description down below. But Instagram is jasper.krents. This was all done in 2023. All three of these were done in 2023, which goes to show me that Jasper is definitely a cartoonist that's kind of nonstop working, which kind of fits in line with that kind of manic nature. So this is Magnet Head 1. This is like treasury sized. I don't know if I have a single issue comic handy. Oh, here we go. Here's Bill Sienkiewicz's Elektra. So you can see that these, when you buy them from Jasper, they're going to be wider than and taller than your average single issue comic. And I think I saw Jasper on his Instagram did a few shows with Nate Garcia in the New York, Philly area. So I can see how they're, like, their art doesn't look anything like, but I can see how they're kind of cut from the same cloth, or maybe using some of the similar techniques and tools and whatnot. But here's the cover page, which again, just all over, looks like he's using maybe some whiteout or like coloring maybe the page in black and then doing some white technique over the top of it, while also using his pen and crazy hatching style over here. That's just my guess. I'm not an artist myself, or an expert. But this is Magnet Head, so this seems to be Jasper's one man anthology kind of deal, where it's autobiographical comics. And in here you find out that Jasper had a head injury at one point and had a severe concussion, and how it's affected his life. You never find out what caused the injury. I don't know if that's something that Jasper is holding close to his chest, or if he's going to reveal in a later issue of Magnet Head. And it's not really necessary, honestly. You're just reading the thoughts of him and what he goes through and how it affected him in his everyday life. And it's super interesting. You get these great 2-page spreads. This one, it looks like he's superimposed different stretching techniques. Maybe his doctor kind of told him to do. This is maybe his doctor right here, in order to help his head injury or the recovery from it. Here's a 2-page spread where there's again just every thought that's going through his head, maybe possibly just exploding all at once with all these ideas. Again, the lettering too still maintains that kind of manic nature to it, but it doesn't. It's not like it's very readable. It kind of maintains that kind of done by one hand kind of art style that I really appreciate, when you know this is all done by one mind, one hand, one person, which are some of my favorite comics. This wasn't done by a team. Here's some coloring techniques that Jasper did with these. Looks like maybe some spray paint was used over here. I'd like to know like the process of laying this whole page out and where it started and how it finished and whatnot. But from what I gather, it looks like Jasper is a very young cartoonist, maybe late teens, early 20s. I could be totally wrong on that, but reading his comics does feel like one of the local school districts around here does a art show every year where their students show off their artwork, and a lot of the high school students, there'll always be a few of those high school students that are above and beyond other people, and you can tell that they've got really interesting ideas, and just like they're totally imaginative compared to everyone else who's doing kind of like their own pastiche of like Van Gogh or something. Like there's always those artists that do something completely different, and you can tell it comes straight from the heart and straight from the mind. And that's kind of the vibe I get from Jasper here. He's like a young cartoonist everything's coming straight from him. But that's the cover of Magnet Head 2. Here's the back cover, again using a legal pad. And again, I love this lettering too. This maintains a theme kind of throughout too, where it's like it's hand lettered, but then he has these typed on letters for each one of them. Just a fun idea here. And then again using that legal pad technique that he used on Dan's Secret. So these are full color as well, I should have mentioned. And like in Dan's Secret, it's important because it's mostly black and white, except for the yellow, which is part of the main theme of the story. And the legal pad yellow paper fits in line with that. This has a lot more color in it, but it'll be black and white or color. And again, just like this emotional, this draining, I got a concussion, bleeding heart imagery here. I really, really love this stuff. And again, I'd like to know the process of this too. Like, did he spray paint first and then paint? That looks like a different type of paint. Maybe not watercolor. I don't know, what, acrylic, maybe. And then the bodies here, the stick figures look painted, but then all the faces are obviously hand drawn on legal pads. But it's thrown into a dark outer space like home. So this is like the effects of the concussion initially, and how it affected his life. We're getting, I don't know, just all of the cartoon language. Every page you're like sitting there staring at and trying to find all the little details to it. And then I really tried putting myself out in social settings. I really did. And you have like this very colorful, happy-go-lucky page here. The character of Jasper is still in black and white though, and everything else is like, it's kind of like that Wizard of Oz effect there. But then this is truly what he was going through and how everybody was connected. So just like a raw interpretation and explanation of what Jasper's going through this traumatic event in his life is all on display here. And it's just like pure art. Like, this is what you think of when you think of art. It's just like someone in their imagination that just has to let these ideas come out. Here's where he starts taking medication, and anybody that's had any sort of medication or mental health issues or anything can relate to this. And I love it's a red and white pill. We've all seen pills like that, right? But then he has like the spray paint border technique to fit in line with the theme, and the pill's kind of dancing like a classic like Disney cartoon or something. And there's also all these moments where he's afraid of getting hit in the head, even with the paper airplane. He's like very protective of that because of how traumatic it was and everything he's going through. So super inventive and different cartoonist, and I hope he keeps making more. I've not seen that he has like a Magnet Head 3 coming out anytime soon, but I hope he does. And the reason why I show off all these, this is a piece that reminded me of Nate Garcia, by the way. I don't think Nate did it. There's no signature on it. I don't know if Jasper just can work in a similar technique or not, but it looks like one of the portraits that Nate Garcia would do for somebody. Let me know in the comments if you know. But one of the reasons I like to show these self-published cartoonists off, is I want to support them, and I want more people to get eyes on them so they can buy their wares, buy their comics, buy their mini comics, whatever, so that they can literally afford to keep doing these, keep making more comics. Another reason why I absolutely support this too. So if you're a cartoonist watching this and you want me to show off your comics, get in touch with me. All my contact information is down below in the description of this video as well. You can see Magnet Head 1 and Dan's Secret are available up there too, and there's Jasper Krent's email address. Yeah, so I wanted to show this off. Jasper Krentz again. All his contact information is down below, and where you can buy these is also down below. And support him. Support these underground self-published cartoonists. They're making these super interesting comics that you can't find anywhere else. Jasper Krentz is now on my radar for sure, that I'll be looking to buy anything he puts out. But thank you guys for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends that might be interested in these comics as well. I'd really appreciate that. And thank you, and keep reading comics.